We're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. All right, KWJT. Whole lot of groovy shit going on. Two things. You know we love to start the show off with a whole lot of love. So thank you, all the groovers at home, for tapping in with last week's episode. We truly appreciate you guys. So thank you. Go crazy. Brazy AZ. Treckle Forest, thank you for always supporting us. We truly appreciate you guys too, for always getting us fucked up on the pod. And without a further ado-ski, I would like to introduce this week's guest. We got Toeb in the motherfucking building.
I ran into class on the seminars. Get my flowers.
You know, all of them today. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
It's great to hear, man. Great to hear.
Nah, this is gonna be fun.
What's up with you, Tavares? How you doing? I feel like you ask like, how are you doing, and nobody reverts the question back to Tavares.
Oh my goodness.
That's a fact.
I'm doing great, brother. Weekends are special for me, so get to connect with everybody and sit in this room and chat it up with a lot of people. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great for today.
Dope. We got it. It's Sunday, bro. Everybody's feeling good, man.
It's a good Sunday.
We over here feeling blessed today.
I have a bunch of questions, but like also no questions. So I'm gonna sprinkle them in as we like just kick it for the next hour.
So you're about to just ask me a series of stupid shit.
No.
I need PR, bro. This is so bad. I just started this off so fucked up.
No, don't worry. We
control it.
We're like a lot of people's first interviews, so like we totally understand. It's no
Solana
worries.
looked at me like,
That came in crisp.
All right, Koi, get ready to beep some shit. I mean, before we really truly get started on this, it's really hard to encapsulate like the things you do. You're so involved with the community. You've been involved. I was lucky enough to meet you this past year, and I still have yet to figure out the copious amounts of things that you do and involve yourself with. So like, can we start off with Toeb's your brand and how you started off your brand Requiem, and did that happen before you began being creative, or was that the start of the journey?
Nah, the journey is long, bro.
Yeah,
I've been around for a little minute. It's been
Yes.
a while. It's been a minute. That actually, the story about that's kind of crazy. That was kind of like an evolving, revolving door of failures. It was just like me trying to start something, it not working out, trying to start something else, it not working out, and then being like, all right, this one's it. But that kind of happened during a transition in my life where I was like, I got to do something different. Like I gotta really change like the trajectory that my life is going on. So then me and my godbrother Tommy, we was living in Arizona at the time. We went through like a crazy 2-year span. We had like a nail supply business, had to kind of like shut that down because it was like a family business. Part of our family was like leaving Arizona, moving back to Seattle. Yeah. And then it was just a lot trying to work that between two states. We had like just moved down to Arizona from Seattle, and then coming back up, and we were like, all right, we just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, man, I think I was just like in the house because it's so unbearably hot there during the summer. I was just on the computer in the AC like for days. Like we just like that just kind of turned into like months of just me just deep diving. Like, all right, I'm moving back home. I got to figure out what it is I'm like really about to do.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of like landed with that, and then just designing and testing things out, samples that never came out, got stolen by brands I won't name.
Yeah.
It was a lot, bro. It was a lot of ups and downs of just testing things out. And then made it back here, started putting it together. Right now, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you know about it, you know about it.
Yeah.
If you're my homie, you can get it. And if I don't know you, you will not be able to get your hands on it. And if you have it and I don't know you, I'm going to know one of my homies.
Gifted it to you. Yeah. There's a short list on there.
Yeah, so it's like pretty much right now, it's just like no promo, straight samples, friends and family. So it's actually kind of a weird thing to talk about because it's like, it's not really like an.
Hold on 1 second.
That's the guard dog.
Hey, but he was like, I need on with the podcast too.
The mailman out there.
I guess so.
He don't fuck with the postman.
Nah.
What a stereotypical dog.
I know.
Fucking asshole. There's no one out there. That's what makes it worse. It's never like, sometimes he's just hypersensitive.
That's cool.
It's good though.
My dog is obnoxious.
Now Prezi walks like his name. Like he embodies what you like named him.
He got his nuts, bro.
Yeah, he lets them hang too.
He's standing up. He got truck nuts. It's crazy.
If you've never met Prezi walks around with a demeanor like, what the fuck? Pet me, but don't touch me also at the same time.
That's an upper echelon pup right there.
Yeah, he got some flavor.
But I wanted to I want to take it back to Lace Up days because I know you have a very long standing history in our personal streetwear culture and just the development of it moving from Tacoma to Seattle and just like it kind of just like those small building blocks that we have today. So what was that time like when Laced Up was still in Tacoma and like just that whole era of just like streetwear?
Yeah, that's gonna be a long-winded story, but we'll get into it for sure. That really started. Okay, so that was like pretty crazy because I started going to the skate park, and then I would just be at that fall skate park like all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever I had a chance, or it was like nice enough to actually go skate, so I'd be over there, and then pretty much just like was kicking it with some homies there. And then they were all in high school. I was probably like around like 12, like a fresh 12 at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe I might have been even 11. I don't know. But yeah, that kind of opened up me meeting like the guys who started introducing me into these things. Cause like I was already like into shoes and whatnot. Like,
yeah. Cause
at that time, like the scene was like so small that a lot of it was like, damn, this sounds hella nerdy now that I'm thinking about it. like how like Discord and like Reddit is popping right now. Like back then it was Nike Talk, ISS. And that's kind of how you like figured out what was going on.
Yeah. Outside
of maybe like a couple of.
So you're an 11-year-old on Nike Talk wheeling it. Are you copying things at this, like buying?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I'm fully into it. Like I was always into like shoes and whatnot, but then like when I figured out there was like a culture behind it, it just like blew my mind, and I was like, I gotta know about this. I gotta be involved in this. This is crazy. And then especially at that time too, it was like you just wanted to be like individual and like have the things nobody had.
Yeah.
Because at that time it's like everybody dressed like each other.
Facts.
Because you really only had the mall. And if
True.
you didn't have them all, you were probably like wearing some like Captain Crunch, like weed flip that you got at the hood store or something. You know what I mean? So, so like you could identify somebody for sure. Like be like, oh, you're part of this group.
Yeah.
I can tell just by like this one thing you're wearing. Like, you know about something. What's up? Let's be friends. So it was like a super small group or whatever, like in Tacoma at that time.
Yeah.
And it was like I feel like I have to mention all these guys because they were very like important in what I'm doing today, and I probably wouldn't be doing these things if it wasn't for them. So there was Swanks, Vespa, Chase, my good friend Chase Sinclair, and then that was pretty much like the groups of us, the small group of us that was like really like starting to get into like the streetwear stuff like early on. And man, Vest was kind of like the dude that really like put it all together though.
Yeah.
Cause he started figuring out how to get like couriers and like getting stuff sent in from like other spots that we didn't have access to.
Oh, that's fire.
So he was getting like BAPE, like couriered in, and this is like early on, like before it was like, this was before it was like really even in like music videos. You know?
Oh, so he's learning about it as Nigo's really like figuring out how to like seed and like getting out of the Japan.
Yeah, this is like pre-Wayne.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. It was like super early on. So then he was getting like all this stuff just like couriered in. And then he was actually crazy. He started like a membership where you had to like pay to even be able to purchase. He was just always ahead of stuff like that. He was hella smart. And then then we all just started like going up to Seattle and figuring out like, oh, like there's stores up here we can hit or whatever. Cause we really only had like Northwest Snowboards, and like that's where you would get like the SB drops at the time. Yeah. So like they would get like, you know, like Dino Juniors, Tiffany's, Dunkles, or the Uncles. Like so we had access to certain things, but then we didn't really have access to like the clothing side of it. Yeah. So then we would just start going up there, going to Goods, 35th, obviously, and whatnot. So, like, outside of our very small range of being able to go to Northwest Snowboards or, like, Platinum Wear. But then even at Platinum Wear, it's like, you know, you had to wait in a line. It was terrible. It'd be so cold. like I'm like a kid. Yeah. Like I'm like
February.
yeah. Especially, and like I'm like a kid, too, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like I would have to do weird shit, like tell my mom, like, oh, I'm going to go stay at my friend's house. And like,
just in the Nike dunk line.
Yeah, for sure. What? I was there for LS drops. Yeah, I'm there, bro.
That's fire.
Like, I need that. So then, you know, we started going up to Seattle, and then definitely, like, you can't mention Seattle streetwear without mentioning Goods. That was definitely, like, the pinnacle. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, we started going up there and then just getting hips, like, different brands at that time and whatnot. And then you just started meeting more people. Like, the further you ventured out, you started meeting more people. Like, I was, like, really, really young when I started to realize, like, oh, wow, like, there's even more of a subculture behind the subculture. Because now it's like, oh, it's not only just, like, clothes, but then you have, like, skating, you have surfing, you have, like, you know, the photography, the music, like,
graffiti, it all plays into it.
Yeah. So, like, my first few times going up to Capitol Hill, it was kind of, like, eye-opening because you really had, like, a thriving, like, culture, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it wasn't just like, all right, now I'm just going from seeing this on, like, Soul Collector or like, you know what I'm saying, or Nike Talk or whatever. Yeah. Now it's like in my face, and I'm like,
it's existing in my universe.
Yeah. So now I'm hooked. I'm like, I'm going up there all the time. And then Laced Up open, and then Vest was kind of like the person that kind of connected the dots between, like, all the Seattle dudes at Laced Up at that time. Yeah. Versus, you know, like us guys in Tacoma or whatever. So then we would just be up there, and then I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I just remember being up there enough times, and then Cassius and then JC were just kind of like, yo, you're here all the time. Like, do you want to intern? And I was like, yeah, like, fuck yeah, I want to intern. Like,
I'm here every day.
Yeah, like, it was like major. It was major, you know. So I was like, yeah, for sure. So then, pretty much from that, like, it was like me and a couple other guys. Like, the main guys working there at the time was like Thad and Porter. Yeah, Thad and Porter were like the two dudes that were like
there every day.
Yeah, just like helping. Yeah, helping run the shop and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But like, those guys showed me like so much love and like embracement that, like, I'll forever be like grateful for that all of those guys up there, for sure, because it gave me an outlet to, like, learn, and then, you know, actually seeing, like, a black business being able to, like, you know, be somewhat successful, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd never
really experienced it, and you got invited into it.
Yeah, for sure. Just because I was a shop troll, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I think I was just so young too. These guys were just like, oh man, we gotta, like,
we're molding what's going on now. Now it's like he's 12, 13. Like, he know, like, whatever he's buying for the next 10 years will always be cool. Because
Yeah.
like that's the future. So it's dope that they recognize in the moment that they had a kid that was like already up on game, but like now we can just like, all right, we can ensure that there's a certain level of like cool and exclusivity that is continued through someone that we already fuck with.
No, yeah, for sure. And that's like that moment in my life just changed everything for me. Like that specific like time and place and just the space of just being there, it shaped everything that I'm doing, even still to like this day, and kind of like the ethos that I have like with the things that I do. It all stems like from that particular like time.
Yeah.
For sure. Because it's like, I don't know, going up there, like those dudes, they treated me like family, and like those were like some of the flyest dudes, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Dad, Porter, Ike, you know, Dave, Jake, like all those dudes, like they meant a lot to like my upbringing as far as like what I'm doing now, you know what I'm saying?
That's fire. Got a little early.
Shout out to all y'all.
I think it's really cool. Just knowing you like personally, I think it's really cool that you have such an like archival spirit about yourself. Like just the point of references you have and like where you're able to pull from like Supreme 2000, like you know a catalog from a certain year of like when you first saw a sneaker, and just like those time periods. Like how important is it to you to like have a sort of sense of like referencing, like knowing the past, but also being able to like change it in the future?
I think that is the most important thing about what I do with everything, because I don't know, maybe it was like my upbringing, but I grew up in a pretty like non-traditional, but like traditional, like the core values were traditional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like not forgetting where you come from, like knowing your people. And I don't know, maybe it's just because my family is from the South or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, especially like on my dad's side, like it was very, very like important that we like pay respect to like the things that we came from.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think maybe that just kind of rubbed off into just how I think about things and how I just work and like lay out what I'm about to do next. Like it has to stem from somewhere. Like I don't find myself being inspired by something that I wasn't directly impacted by.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of hard for me to do. Like
you can't pull like if you didn't live it or feel it or in some sort of like around you, it's hard to like replay. And I think that's really dope.
Yeah, because it's hard to grasp. You know, I have a tough time like acting or like being fake about things.
True.
So it's like if I feel like I have to do that with anything that I'm doing, I just feel like it's something that I probably just shouldn't be doing.
That's fire to me, because I feel like with you being also a creative, it allows a certain a true authenticity to what you bring and what you put out, which I get to benefit from, because you are no hold bar when it comes to like my personal creative and just like what you see the people around you that should be doing and like what is best for them. And then like I think it's really dope that you like bleed it into like your environment. Like there's a certain level of like you should have a reference point or you should have an understanding of it to like continue or to do it or just like stand on it. I don't think I have a point. I just kind of wanted to like shout you out for like having that and just like providing it for others and like holding people accountable to it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I just think it's hard to continue something that you just have no personal attachment to, you know? And it's not even that I necessarily know what's best for other people, but I just try to give the best advice that I can, because if you're not being true to yourself, it's like, what the fuck are you really doing?
Yeah.
Like, you can't really go that far. It's only going to be a matter of time before you hit the wall and then it's just jaded and you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Nah.
What's up, Tavares, man? You over here real quiet, man.
No, I was listening to those isms. You know, honestly, for the viewers at home, I don't know if they know how you two met, and how this came about to be. So,
we met through Jaime. So Jaime brought me to aisle 4 one day and was like, "Hey,
aisle 4."
Well, I wanted to touch on Al4 later, but I'm gonna make this a brief blimp because it's very important to like what I've been doing for the last 2 years. But me and Jaime worked together for like 6 months. Basically ran the summer as far as like producing and just like on set. And he was like, I know these guys starting something like pivotal, and he was like, come in, meet them. And I met Toeb, Flock, and Mal that day. And they were just like, he was like, hey, he's Corey, he's a photographer, he does lighting. And then ever since then, like, not ever since then, the time after is when, like, it actually made sense. Because, like, when they first brought me there, I was, like, just kind of in the space, just standing around. I wasn't really, like, I was trying to figure it out. I was, like, I knew this was very important, but, like, not knowing the group of people I was, like, dealing with, I was kind of just like, all right, let me figure out what's going on. And then when I got back the next time, it was just like, I kind of like knew what it was going to be and like where it will sit in like 5 years. But it was just like talking to Toeb, talking to Flock, just knowing like a glimpse of their past. I was like, okay, I can trust these guys with whatever. Like, cause I'm in like a weird point of what I'm doing. And they're like, they've done a lot. Like this is very new, but they have a history where I can be like, I can entrust like all my confusion and everything I'm trying to figure out to these guys. So ever since then, Toeb has pushed me in a very like a monumentally healthy way.
Yeah, I gotta push everybody because I was pushed. And if I would have took heed to a lot of advice and just encouragement that I got early on, I would have been doing all this a lot sooner. But everything happens for a reason. But even that, I just realized too, I left out a huge part of like the laced up story. So, but yeah, so going through meeting those guys, then I got to meet other like, extended, just like connections or whatever through via like laced up. Then I got to be around Kingston, and Kingston had a brand called Life of Villains.
Oh shit.
And LOV was probably like one of the biggest local brands at the time. And Kingston was like amazing, like
that's fire.
He produced, I don't know if he was 1/2 or 1/3, but he was part of the collective Blue Sky Black Death, which was like an amazing production group, right? And they pretty much produced like all of Nacho Picasso's early stuff. Pretty much anything that was like coming out of that Capitol Hill at the time, like they were
hands in.
They were involved in some way where like you had to know Kingston pretty much. Like even if it wasn't musically, like Kingston was like around. He was like one of the main dudes that embraced me like outside of the original crew at Laced or whatever. But then even at Laced Up, being there for so long, Dave, who owns the currently he's just opening a new shop, Mania Market. But Dave was like the other half to like keeping me going, and like keeping the momentum going as far as like me being in any type of creative field or creative space.
What was it like knowing Dave back then? Because like Dave had like a lot going on. Like he like always, from what I've got to gather, or just like knowing people that know Dave has always been like a visionary of like what's going on. So what was it like knowing him back then?
It was amazing, bro. Like I can't mention anything about what I'm doing without mentioning Dave. Like if I had to boil it down to like one person really always being there for me, like through and through, Dave was like my mentor. Dave is the reason why I still have passion for this today. Dave is somebody who I have tried to like model myself after, as far as when it comes to like business and just having the foresight to try to know like what my next move is or should be. He's somebody I still call and talk to and rely on in certain situations. Like Dave really took me under his wing, and I'm like forever in debt to him because he made all of this possible. Yeah. Like especially at a time in my life, I was at Laced Up or whatever, and then they had some business dealings, and pretty much Dave was supposed to open Triple Crown in Tacoma, and he ended up doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Dave just saw something in me. I was already like living in Tacoma,
Yeah.
and then I couldn't really be at Laced Up every day.
Yeah.
Because it's a drive, you know. I wasn't driving. I wasn't even old enough to have a license.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
like having the want and desire, like it's cool once you get in, but like once it becomes like more than that, it's like all right,
Yeah.
the 45 hour and a half bus ride some nights, and like
Yeah.
then I got to figure out the last bus.
Yeah, for sure. And then I wasn't doing that. That's cool. I'm gonna hop a ride with the homies on the weekend.
Exactly.
You know, kick it. You know what I'm saying?
I still show face.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Dave saw something in me. He was like, "Yo," he was like, "Do you pretty much want to come down here and like work?" Like, and I took the opportunity, you know, because it was a little bit more of like an in-depth like internship, because I was actually gonna be like hands-on and like kind of learn like the back end of like how to like structure, pretty much how to structurally like run a business, like from like top to bottom, you know, everything from like buying to even how to get and secure accounts, trade shows. Like I didn't know any of this stuff. I wasn't really like involved in that side of Laced Up.
You were more like, you were the face. Would you say you're like the face of it? Like you grab t-shirts, just be in the shop, but you weren't really like knowing.
Well, not because like, damn, this made me feel so old. So like with Laced Up, like we like interned, but we were like pretty much like the street team.
Okay. You were word of mouth. You was wearing the gear. You were like, hey, bro, you need this? Go to Laced Up. Like,
exactly.
Oh, don't go over there. Go over there.
For sure. Like, we still had flyers back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're I think you're only a few years older than, like 4 years older than me. So I know, I still know about having a good street team. And hitting the pavement of just like, all right, seeing these flyers mean like I printed these out at Kiko's and now you see them the same day.
Yeah, for sure. So so I went from pretty much being like on the street team and doing like, I don't know, I guess like guerrilla marketing, I guess is what you would call it, with those dudes, and then then being downtown Tacoma with Dave, and that was really the first streetwear shop Tacoma ever had. Yeah, like outside of, I mean, this was like kind of before like streetwear was like an industry how it is now. Yeah. Like I had an uncle and he had owned a store, but that was like, it was kind of like a mix of just like whatever he could sell. Like he had some knowledge of streetwear, but it was really like if he could sell just white tees, it's just white tees every day. Yeah. So like they it was like white tees. There was like this brand called like Arme, and then like Zubair. He had some vape stuff for sure, even like way back then. Yeah. But that was a cool place to be in. I was really young though. I was like 7 or 8 or something like that. I was really young. So, but yeah, so then I ended up being with Dave down there pretty much from like 14, 15 until, damn man, I want to say until I was like about like 19 or something. Yeah. 19, 20. And then, so I was there from the beginning. Like it was me, Dave, and Slim. Damn. So you was getting like a college course on like real streetwear business and just like the dealings of what's going on. Yeah, for sure. It was crazy. Like I didn't think that it was gonna be that instrumental, but like in hindsight, I learned so much, and I would do it all over again if I had to. Like I encourage any kid that is serious and passionate about this, like if you can find a good internship or a place just to be at, just be there, give it your all. Like at some moment something will present itself to where whatever work you had to put in before, you'll be prepared for what you're about to do.
This is beautiful. A lot of times I sit here and I'm like super quiet, but like in this case, streetwear, it's something I'm not knowledgeable about. Mm-hmm. I just got into like clothing like about 2 years ago. You can ask Corey. But
what was you wearing before, bro?
Man, oh my!
That's not true. See, that's not valid. We started prioritizing.
Nah, that's definitely valid.
No,
brother, I'm not.
High school fits are still fits. We were still wearing what was trend, like,
but it wasn't fits. I was not fit.
Go back to some of them.
I'm gonna be fairly
Tavares is shitting on you. Go back to some of them fits.
Honestly,
they're
thank
top
you,
tier.
brother. I put a lot into those high school fits,
Bucket
man.
hat phase.
Trying to go crazy, but no. I'm only saying this because you guys were actually some of my few shop moments to where being that person. Granted, I'm not the kid. I'm actually an adult now, but like Paradise and like Al 4. Reason I brought it up a little earlier. Those were the actual moments where I'm actually like, I hit the pavement. I'm like, ooh, I'm meeting the curators behind these brands. I'm actually, feeling the shirts that they're producing or the clothing that they're making, and it's just it goes a long way too when you have people like yourself and the group that you guys belong to that are actually have like open arms. I think that's important. Not only for in my case, because a lot of people have had open arms, but there's a difference between that and like actually people who want to meet their patrons or people that actually want to understand their customers and the people that support them. So honestly, I didn't really have a point.
Nah, I get what you're saying though.
I feel like I was a little too quiet. I've been listening to a whole lot of isms, so I was like, I gotta let these people know that I been with the swag for the last year, 2 years.
Yeah.
I just now got onto the swag.
Nah, that's great that you bring that up though, because I think I can only speak for myself, but like, I knew Harry before Paradise was a thing. I knew Harry before he was really even shooting music videos, because Harry was also like an early, like younger dude that was on Capitol Hill. So it's like, I've been knowing Harry for a long time. And I think with like specifically like Paradise and then with our shop with All Four, it's like we just come from an era where it was community, Like we didn't really come from it where now it's like about like the social media and like the likes. Like we didn't have that.
There's a huge wave. There's a huge market now with the label of streetwear.
Yeah, exactly. Because now it's like, like now it's pretty much its own business now. It's not it's not a subculture anymore.
Yeah.
It's culture at this point. And I don't know. Some people feel indifferent about it. I kind of take the stance of like, man, well, if it wasn't gonna do this, then it would have died.
True.
Like things have to grow, things have to evolve, and it also it might, some of it sucks because like a lot of the essence of it isn't there, but in the same sense, it's also providing
income for a lot of people that really care about it.
Yeah, guys are feeding their families off of this. Like I'm sure a lot of these brands are gonna get passed down generationally. Like that's amazing to come from something that realistically started in 500 square foot retail shops that nobody really gave a fuck about unless you were just a maniac and you just were.
You love t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. So
there was a huge time. A lot of people got to be honest with themselves that like people look down on streetwear.
Yeah.
In the beginning stages of like the whole boom, I would say
no one got it.
Yeah.
It was like. Man, it was kind of weird. You were kind of like the coolest of the outsiders at that point. Like, like there was dudes like who really like, like lived in the hood, came from the hood. Like dudes like, P and, a lot of those guys. And even myself, bro, like it wasn't easy for me to just be myself at the time I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like I looked like a fucking alien to a lot of people, especially if you didn't know me or know my background or know like where my peoples came from.
It was like, oh, this guy's.
You might have tried to test it, and you probably found out.
He's not failed the test. He's not in long tees and baggy pants. So like, nah, they're different. The graphics are kind of different. They might be the same fit, but the graphic is kind of crazy.
Can you imagine wearing like slim, like what would now probably be like slim cut jeans, but were skinnies back then with Vans before the Vans song came out?
You're crazy.
Bro, I was on a skateboard. Like,
you look wild.
Yeah.
And more than likely you're called white because it's just like.
But then like you're skating through like dangerous neighborhoods. You feel me? Like, it's not even just like you got to get off the bus. You got to skate through some shit to get to the bus, to get to the skate park where you're probably going to be cool at. You know what I'm saying?
To be yourself.
Just to be yourself. So, like, it was definitely a different time. You know, now it's cool. Now people can do whatever the fuck they want, you know?
Very true. I feel like that, I don't know. Do you feel like the explosion, obviously the explosion helped with the normalcy. Do you think that time was just like more sports driven than it was fashion driven? So like for you to be in the fashion, it was just like unconceivable like at the time? Because I'm trying to figure out what, like, outside of like all the people in the streetwear culture becoming like cool or just dominant in like clothing, what was like the shift? Because all of you guys are just like, they're in their 40s and 50s now, and you guys are in your early 30s, late 20s. So like,
I mean, I think a lot of it kind of has to do with environment. Like, I can only speak for myself and my environment. I'm sure some kid that grew up in a upper class neighborhood that was on a skateboard and was into like BMX or whatever they might have been into,
it was a lot easier. Yeah,
he was probably the coolest guy around because people got it. You know what I mean? Like,
there was a point of reference for it.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like, I don't know. For me and my personal journey, I feel like, man, I feel like the Vans. I feel like when the pack came out, like it made it a little more cool. And then, man, I'm trying to think of like, because I'm trying to speak like culturally, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because it happened before streetwear was necessarily cool. Because a lot of people wouldn't still know what you were wearing.
Yeah, but there was music that went along with what was going on.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily like correlate like the Van song with streetwear at all.
Yeah,
but on like a mainstream level, like it made it cooler to be different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'd probably say like that pack era, and then probably Wayne.
Yeah,
for sure. Like Wayne, definitely.
When he started dressing different and started getting more into like streetwear clothes.
But I mean, I would really have to give it to Pharrell if I had to give it to anybody. But he just wasn't necessarily like as big as a icon as like Lil Wayne might have been for like other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that makes a lot of sense.
I feel like as far as like that industry went, like the music industry, I feel like it started with Pharrell and then it trickled down to whoever he was producing for.
Gym class heroes.
Exactly. And then they started to make it cool for everybody else.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people probably would have looked at Pharrell just as weird as they look at me.
No, I hear like it's funny to like hear people talk about the Pharrell era like today and like like as they're older, like, nah, we didn't get it. Like he was just like that. Like it made sense because he made beats and he didn't really rap. So it's just like it felt like until like there was his influence actually got into other people. It was just like it was just written off. It was just like that's just who he is. That's kind of just what he does.
Yeah, man. He changed. He shifted the culture for sure.
Very much so, and
undeniable.
And did it for like selfish. I feel like the coolest thing about Pharrell is like, yeah, it eventually became culture, but he just was like, I like this. Like, nigga, I'm going there because like I met this dude and I'm fucking with what he's got, and he knows all about like what I'm doing, and like he copies my like he's already like so tuned into like what's going on. I'm like, it's a no-brainer. And it's not for like, yeah, I'm bringing it back and showing people, but it's not to be like, oh, you got to go. It's like, nah, I met this dude. We traded, and like now I'm up on you because you don't even know about this.
Yeah. You want to hear a crazy story?
Of course.
So this is about to fuck you up, right? Dude, I assume both of you guys like listen to Dom Kennedy, or like at one point, like you guys just like, Dom Kennedy's he's the nigga, right?
Oh yeah, for surely.
Bro, he dropped his first song on Nike Talk.
Yeah. Damn, that's really crazy, bro. The forums had it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it goes deep, bro.
Yeah.
Like it goes really, really deep.
And it was that's really cool because it wasn't for like he was making music, but it was like I know I know the niggas that this song is for. This is for my like.
Oh, it was in complete lack of confidence. Like if I ever see him, I'm about to tell him that because he be with Umi sometimes. Yeah. So like, I'm about to be like, hey man, I remember you dropped that first track on Nike Talk on some like, is this cool?
It's like streets fucking with it because this is who I care about. This is you guys are the people. So is this we fucking with this?
Yeah, exactly. So,
that's fire.
Damn, that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's just it's like it's knowing like the people that you want that okay from, and it's just like all right, if they think it's cool, who gives a fuck about like the niggas that I like see every day?
That's how it was, bro. We were in our own world, like nothing mattered.
Yeah.
You didn't fucking care. You're like yeah, it's like you see like it was like we were like our own species. You know what I'm saying? Like
I miss because I can say I was there, but I was never like truly a part of like a subculture before, like besides weed, I would say. But I miss that, I guess how it's talked about. I miss when it was just like, I would say gatekeep because that's what people call it. But I miss when it was just like a niche thing of just like, you like shoes, you like graphic tees, we homies, and we have a plethora of things to like grow on and like talk about. And now it's just such a, everyone can have the conversation. I kind of miss that. I guess the thing about the world I miss is just that exclusivity of just being able to have like a niche conversation with somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's still like pockets of that because there's still certain brands that like stay really true.
Yeah.
To like I guess like the core values of things, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I honestly don't even necessarily feel like it was like the people that made it change. I think the business just changed itself.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there was time, like, at least when I was coming up, like, there was a time and place where like you couldn't even get an account in a mall.
Yeah.
Like a brand would just straight turn down however big the amount of money was and be like, yeah, you're in the mall. You couldn't even be in a certain mile radius of the mall. Like I remember when Equipped opened up, and that was like crazy because they were so close to the mall.
Yeah,
and it was bad, bro.
Like move your store. Like,
yeah,
we fucking with you guys, but like
but they were getting accounts. Like they had a hundreds account. Like they had accounts that like that. I think that was kind of like when like the scale shifting. Started to tilt, because then you started to see like. You started to see brands kind of slowly enter into like Zoomies and things like that. But I think that check just got undeniable, man.
No, I mean, like, when I heard when it's like, when the bubble, when there was too many brands and shit, like when you could stand out and like, I could make a couple $1 million right now, like kind of need that couple $1 million. I heard there was just like that need to grow. But I guess I'm never faulting the people for getting paid because that's the whole point of like a business and anything. But I just more like it became such a bigger thing that everyone could have the conversation. I feel like sometimes it's so diluted on like amazing work and just amazing things. Because like to me, skateboarding and clothing like push so much of everything. It's just like when everyone can chime in on like skaters and clothing, I feel like there's no one really having a voice. It's like comedians is like just laugh. You shouldn't be like don't question what you're laughing at. Just laugh. Like just enjoy what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I feel like in ways it's lost that, but there's a few brands that continue it, like the one you start with Requiem, and what I feel like Aisle 4 is in a conglomerate is like in a way that it as community as it is, feel like we still hold a level of like taste. I feel like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's always important to keep some sort of your ideology like rooted in where it came from, and then also too, like, I mean, with a lot of these brands too, man, like, you gotta realize like some of these guys that put in 20+ years, you're gonna need that payout at some time, right?
Fact.
You know, and it's like, I mean, if you look at there's certain ways to do it, you know, like if you look at Supreme, like they're still is culturally like relevant as like that. For as big as they are, they're still culturally like relevant. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain pieces that I would still buy, you know. I'm not gonna consume it the same way I did when it was like
On fire.
Yeah, you know, like before people even knew they had a web store.
Nah.
They had a web store for years, and people were still like, "How do you get this?"
No, you gotta go to the store. If you don't go to the, if you're not in
It's like,
Tokyo,
nah,
you're
bro.
not in New York, you're not getting it.
It's like, no, they've been online.
I wanted to talk to you about the shop and like, what it was like for you to enter that space with the guys, and like what were you doing right before you were in talks to go into the shop, and like what brought you to it?
What I was doing before, man, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I'm not gonna come up here and put no stunt on it. Like before that, I was like, I just moved back and my life got crazy.
Yeah.
So I was really trying to figure it out. Like I pretty much had like lost like everything. And then I was like, oh, like, all right, now I'm starting from like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm starting from nothing. And, you know, I stayed patient and I just kept working at it and I just really had to believe at that point.
Yeah.
Like I really had to believe. And I think I just spent so much time like in that mindset of like, I'm going to figure it out. Like I'm going to make something happen.
Yeah.
That, it just caught up. Like whatever had to be manifested at that point, or whatever was manifested at that point, it just was a matter of time for it to like really start to like, you know, physically present itself to me. And then, I spent probably like, man, maybe like a year and a half, like really just in a weird limbo.
Yeah.
And then, things started looking up, everything was cool. And then, out of nowhere, I just got a call. Like, like Malcolm had just gotten into like a really, really bad car accident. So I was like talking to him all the time, making sure he was like cool and just, you know, was taking care of himself.
Yeah.
Because he was like down in LA, like by himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he had to come up here for surgery. So then I was just constantly just talking to bro, making sure he was doing cool. And he just called me one day out the blue, like, yo, pull up to Lamar's. And I'm like, all right, well, what's up? Like, he's like, just pull up. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, they were like, we're trying to open the store, bro. Like, you trying to do this? And then I had already kind of went through like I don't know. I kind of didn't want to like run a business at the time. Yeah. I just got done doing that with me and Tommy, you know, and we were drained.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like I know like, what.
Like this is work, bro. It's gonna take a lot, you know. And then I was like, well, let me see the business plan. Let me see this or whatever. And then Lamar ran everything down to me, and it was amazing. And I was like, I really believe in this. Like I'm down. If we're gonna do this, let's do it. And then it went from like that one conversation to me just being at Lamar's house, and like me being at Lamar's house like every day for like. Actually, now I think about it, since that day, like I don't think we pretty much been like inseparable.
You don't go a day without checking in or just saying what's up.
At the most, like even it's not even always about like work, but like at the most, like we'll probably go maybe like a day without talking.
Yeah.
But that's like rare. So it's like it's a unique situation because like now it's at a point where like, all right, like everybody in the shop is like friends. It's really like a family, you know what I'm saying? Like I consider everybody in there to be like a part of my like extended family, like, you know, and it's a good environment to be in for sure. Like when you but it gets tricky too.
No,
you're like that close, but I think we like
family.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of how that's pretty much how the shop started, and then it was just like months of just like, all right, now we got to find a space, like, and then dealing with just the actual logistics of like getting it put together. That was the fun part.
No, I heard.
Yeah,
that was the real family building time.
Oh, bro, it was crazy. There was so much shit that just like had to get done in such a small amount of time. Like I think we did that the entire build out for the store in like maybe like a month and a half or something.
Yeah.
Like it had to be like a month and a half, and it looked like shit when we first got in there. Like the building had just gone through like a fire department came in and just hosed the shit off, like, and just made sure the walls weren't black. It was fucked up. It was so fucked up that our landlords were just using that as like a construction, like just like garbage site. You know, there's just like bins of just like scrap wood, whatever. Like
tossing shit in there. It's like, this is storage kind of.
Yeah. It's like all the shit that they just couldn't take to the dump yet. Like it was bad in there. But yeah, man, we put the work in, and now it's lit. It's about to be something that I'm going to be very, very proud of when I get to see other people get to utilize it and experience it, because it's really something that nobody's done up here, and that's what made me really believe in it and just like give it my all and be like, yeah, like I'm in. Let's do this. Because you're onto some shit when you're doing something that nobody's done before.
Yeah,
that's when you know. And
the reception is like, it's like, what the fuck? It's like explaining I4 to people. It's kind of just like a Nah, but
should have been happening.
This exists. Like it's like, nah, this is a real place, and it's just like it's owned by black people. Yeah, it's black. We're multicultural there, but it's
we got to work on your elevator pitch, bro.
My elevator pitch?
Is this how you're pitching the shop?
No, this is not how I'm pitching the shop.
I think we should hear your elevator pitch right now.
My elevator pitch in the shop? Aisle 4 is a multi-race run studio. Because I can't, it's black and Asian. Because it sounds crazy to go, it's a black and Asian ran shop that provides photography space as well as like community gathering, and then there's a retail side.
Okay. That
would be my like, it would with less laughter and more like into the soul and a firm like, yeah.
How would you describe it?
Oh man. Damn. A multifaceted group of individuals that work to drive the creativity. It's hard to. It's actually. It's really hard to describe y'all because
you were doing good, bro. Keep going. You were doing good.
Just being in the space and seeing you guys work, you know, this is all you could ask for as a creative. Point blank. Period. If you walk into the shop, you want to know people who can graphic design, people who can actually like, use Adobe, have creative skills around computer science, things like that, videography, photography. So really it's like an endless list of things that like you can take care of. And plus it's a retail space. It's, I've been trying to wrap my head around you guys for like a little while now.
Yeah.
And it's just point blank period. It's really the healthy space a community needed and deserves.
Bless it.
No, I can't commend you guys enough. I love being there. One thing a lot of I take into consideration is like, you guys really fuck with my guy. Like that's one thing that I hold close to heart. Because a lot of the times it's been me, Corey, Solana, Koi. For majority of us feeling and thinking like we're creatives. It's one thing to do things that to finally do the things that we wanted to be creative and be creative with, but we spent a lot of like years just talking to each other about how do we become creative, how do you like put yourself out there, and we got to this moment where we created the Groovy Tapes, and then halfway through our Groovy Tapes journey, Corey found like another family, like another group of people that support him and his ideals and what he does like outside of their group. And then you guys was all like, what, Corey? Got fam? Bring the fam.
Yeah.
And that is so important. I won't say not everyone in this city or our state reaches out, but there's a level of...
Before that, it was just Harry. And
yeah.
Like the only people that were like co-signed us as like a thing is like Harry was like, oh yeah,
it's quiet until you can do something for somebody else.
Yeah,
truly.
And Benito, those are my two people that were like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
But to summarize, Aisle 4 is what the community needs.
I like that.
a place to be, a place that where you walk in, you can be yourself. There's no outside attachments to what you're doing outside of the life. You walk through those doors. It's all for and what you can do. Not what you can't do, but what you can do. And that's how I feel when I'm in there.
I like that, man.
Damn.
No, for surely, man.
I like that. Yeah, give that man some applause.
Let me get that round of applause.
You know, 'cause
You just might have talked yourself into a spokesman position.
you know,
He might did. We
Yeah.
might have to work out the numbers, man.
I'm just letting you guys know, like, we're not really wrapping up, but like, you know, we do got a grand opening.
Oh
that's
yeah.
gonna, pop out tomorrow, technically after the episode drops.
Nah, the doors will be open while the episode drops. Yeah, I think
We dropping Friday.
yeah.
Oh,
We opening Friday. I
Yes,
don't know.
sir.
I'm asking you. This is your program.
We're dropping Friday.
oh yeah, we drop Friday.
You look
Doors-
at me like,
doors
oh shit,
open
we
on
on.
Friday. Huh? We drop Friday. Doors open. What time are we opening doors?
Man, I think we're gonna just run it like always, man. 12 to 7. You know, probably a little lingering after, but
You know, come kick it.
yeah, man. Everybody pull up. We're excited. It's been a long time coming. We've been in this weird soft opening phase for a minute because we had to put some things together and make sure we came out all the way right. Everything's looking good. It's looking up, and we just want to be another spot where people feel comfortable pulling up, hanging out. Like, we want the energy there. We don't want no dead shop where you feel like you got to just come in and spend your money and get the fuck out. We don't do that. We don't
Come
do that.
kick it.
Yeah, it's good vibes. And then, yeah, man, we just want to be here and just have the people support us and support the people. February 25th through 27th.
And then every Monday through Sunday after that, right? Are we open on the weekends?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
we're not turning down no studio bookings. So
Oh no, that side's open all day.
Yeah.
I'm just more talking retail. Retail hours, come catch us.
somebody will be there.
Someone was always there.
Just Google it. Use the good Google.
Google says 9 a.m. though.
Does it?
Yeah. our Google says we're there from 9 to like 10 p.m. every day. That's what Google says.
Oh, you know why? Because those are the studio, the booking hours.
Oh,
But now we got retail, so we got to change. Yeah, that's got to
Yeah.
get changed.
we got to get the right Google hours in there.
Thank you, Corey, for the public embarrassment.
Nah, what do you mean? Somebody's in there at 9 a.m. if you really trying to pull up. Like, don't. I didn't say that because we're not in there. I'm just like, everybody won't be there at 9 a.m. You might catch Toeb there at night. Like, that's for real. Him or Alex, you know, they'll be there.
Alex is definitely there at
9 a.m. You know, you'll catch a squad member there. Like, you just might not catch the whole squad.
I'd be kind of like, sometimes I walk in, I'd be like, fuck, man, do I gotta start waking up at 6? Like, why is he here
'Cause
before me?
He lives down the block. I think he's the closest to the shop.
I don't know. Me and Elle are pretty close.
But he's like, I think he's like right, like maybe like 4 or 5 miles like before you
Oh,
got.
yeah, because I guess he's right off of the.
Yeah.
I'm about to just drop his whole low. Yeah, in case you got any static with, bro.
He's right off the, you know what I mean? Alex is always there first, and he's the first good morning, like.
Yeah. He's a hard worker, bro. I got to give Alex
Crazy.
his just due, bro. He came in, and bro has not taken his foot off the gas
Nah,
since he got in there.
in every single way.
Full steam. He's going wild.
All right.
He's doing a lot.
Fucking, what? You want to?
I was just trying to check the temperature, man. You
Nah.
got anything else you want to ask?
Nah, I know Toeb for real.
Come on, man. You know Toby for real.
I,
Cart Boys in the chat. Whole lot of gang shit. You already know what's going on. Al 4. We got Toby up in the building. But, hey. Tobe, do you want to leave any of the viewers off with any sauce before we head out?
Yeah, man.
that's
Hey,
fucking
this
funny.
shit just turned into Nardwar so
That's
fast.
so fucking funny.
That's all I could dream for.
I wish that is the
Oh,
goal.
shit.
The goal if we could, hey,
Nardwar Groovy Tapes. That's the
Hey,
I made it.
we're trying to.
That's the I made it.
Narwhal, we see at your top.
Nah, I think I got a couple of things to say, man. I just want to say first and foremost, like if anybody at any point has been involved in my life, whether positively or negatively, if you said fuck me or you actually embraced me like a homie, I want to say thank you because you were part of my journey and this process that I'm still going through. I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all, even the haters. Shout out to you. Everybody, but man, I want to thank both of you guys for having me up here. I was hella nervous walking in, like, damn, about to get interrogated.
Nah, this is seamless.
I feel like I'm just chilling at the shop with y'all, like how we normally be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm proud of you guys, man. You guys have been really going full steam.
Thank you.
It's good to see, man. Good to see. I can't wait to see where you guys are gonna be next year. I want all my boys going up. Keep happening.
Come on.
You've been grooving with the South. This is KWJT. We got Toeb, Corey, Solana, Koi.